Afternoon all. I'm with my good friend Chris, known as Chess Explained. So today we had Game 7, I believe. Was it, Chris? Game 7 today?
Yeah, Game 7, right. We're just past the halfway mark of the match, and now there's only 5 games left after this, so Game 7 it was.
Okay, so Gelfand with his second white in a row plays d4, and we get the familiar Slav defense. After knight c3, knight f6, e3 again. So far we've had this in many games before.
Yeah, we had this in all 3 Gelfand's white games, or Vishy's black games, whatever you want to switch it. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that they actually play this all the time. So, but it shows that Anand obviously believes his preparation is fine enough to withstand all the constant tries to find something. So we got exactly the same opening as we had in game 1, 3, and 5. Sorry, 2, 4, and 6. It's the other way around. So again, this a6 line here.
Right. And now, you know, a6 does seem to intuitively weaken b6. And maybe, you know, a lot of club players would think a6 is a bad move because, you know, maybe this move which is played next seems quite attractive in principle. You know, the weakness of the last move here is kind of pounced on with this next move, which varies from previous games, just to play c5.
Yeah, he went c5 here. It's of course an interesting try for white, and also maybe the move which leaves the most play in the position compared to the other lines we've seen before, where we had this mass liquidation in the center, and this won't happen here.
Yeah.
But you also need to see that white has his bishop on c1, which is also not such a great piece. So if in this kind of position with c4, c5, white's bishop would be on, let's say, f4, then white would certainly have some advantage.
Yeah.
And it's pretty obvious also the space advantage, and this would look pretty nice. It's not losing or anything for black, but white should have something. And here he tries to fix the b6 weakness, but as you will see, black plays knight bd7, which
strategically also black is often looking for e5 if it becomes possible. To get in maybe e4, that would liberate black's position, because sometimes it's more difficult to take here because of c5. But the other breakers is of course b6 as well as e5. That's the way to attack these two parts of the chain.
Black basically has 2 plans here, b6 or e5. He could what he could try. White goes knight queen to c2 now, and well, the alternative I could think of, I didn't look up the current state of theory here. The only alternative to b6 I could think of here is g6.
Yes, that looks as though that bishop might actually be really good later for an e5 pawn sack, to be able to play knight g4, for example. Maybe reconnect the pawn. Bishop would be good on that diagonal.
Compared to that, bishop e7 or so is just too passive, but you could play this, bishop g7 castles, but this also means that the bishop won't help in any way on the queen side. You abandon any b6 plans, then you're really setting everything on this e5 break. And one thing which might be possible, I'm not sure if it's possible at the moment, but or good at the moment, is white playing e4 here. Let's say g6, and I'm not sure, maybe not immediately, but this would be one concern, to open up now the c1 bishop.
Yeah.
And something which might be an issue. Yeah, I'm not sure, but b6 is, I think, the main line. It tries to open up the queen side and trying to get rid of this somewhat annoying c5 pawn.
I guess e5 is unplayable here. Is it? I'm not sure what the theory is.
I'm also not sure. D takes e5, knight g4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no, I don't think a direct tactical refutation.
Can't really be ignored, can it? With bishop, maybe it can. Bishop e2.
Yeah, it can be, but if white would ignore this, I think black would play this line. It's sort of like a French where black has lost a couple of tempi, but still, well, it's certainly an okay structure. But white could go this anyway with f3 to come, breaking up the center.
Oh yes, or f3. Yeah, it's like a reverse French.
It's possible, but yeah, I think we should continue a bit. Yeah, I think b6 is. I think Vishy also played this quickly.
Yeah.
It's very much fits into the position. Now white cannot go b4, what he would like to do, because b4 a5 destroys white's queen side. So
I heard that there was a funny expression on Gelfand's face after b6. Are you 100% sure it's main line to play b6? I'm not really sure of the territory, to be honest. b6 looks logical, but the knight looked a bit strange on b6. But I suppose there's b file and other stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He often makes funny expressions when there's nothing much going on.
Okay.
So.
All right. So white was happy to play c takes b6.
Yeah, right. And then knight b6. Yeah, queen b6 doesn't make much sense, as he would allow knight a4 with the tempo. So you take with the knight.
Yeah, that will get a good grip on that, and he checked bishop d2.
Yeah, wants to go there anyway. Not sure if he plays this immediately or waits a move, but knight b6 also allows this knight on a4 if it should appear there to be exchanged directly.
Yeah.
So I think pretty much everything was okay with black's position up to a point. So now bishop d2, this also came quickly, c5. Of course, black wants to get rid of this pawn, and now rook c1. This has been played very quickly, and now Anand invested some time to figure out how he should set up his pieces. And
I think Natalia Poganiga on ChessGames.com was saying the two main moves would be cd or c4 maybe, but c4, the pawn structure might be fragile after c4 here. There's biting opportunities later with b3 or e4. This is fragile, but I just wondered myself if later it could be justified if black could use this b file, later with some sort of. But no, that white. I don't know. That's a bit ambitious c4, isn't it? What do you think? Do you think it's terrible? Too committal?
Yeah, I thought of this move also, but I think that white is pretty quick in opening up the position, either with b3 or e4.
Yeah.
And you're a bit underdeveloped here as black, so white, I'm not sure, maybe e4 could be an idea, or b3, and it's hard to, maybe b3 even, and it's hard to see that black would keep the pawn there, so you maybe need to take even, and I don't think that this is such a favorable position. It's very symmetrical, maybe even with the pawn, I'm not sure. The pawn on b3 also controls the nice c4 square, but even this position is pretty symmetrical, but black has got some slight development problems, and white could maybe try for something here. Also the a6 pawn is a potential problem, and you always need to take care about this pawn. It's a bit difficult. You don't want to play a5 as it gives away b5, so this is a bit problematic. I think taking on d4 should be fine, really.
Yeah.
What he played, it's certainly still has got this weakness on a6, black's position, but if you look at this, I think he got a pretty decent position.
So he takes with the pawn to cement control of e5 to keep a lock on the dark squares, and it's this strategy on the dark squares which is echoed throughout this game, in particular c5 and e5, are vital to white to keep lock and guard over. So that's, even though the pawn might be a bit more vulnerable there, there's no chain around it. It wasn't that exploitable, was it? There's no pressure on d4 here from black.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to free up the bishop, the d2 bishop.
Yeah.
So this was is pretty much the instant reply. E takes d4. Yeah. Now bishop b6 makes also sense to prevent bishop to f4.
Yeah.
And where would the bishop go? So it's useful.
Now bishop g5.
Yeah, right.
And now this is a very interesting point from a commentary point of view. People commenting in real time around the world. Here are a big crossroads here after castles, as though bishop takes f6 was a viable option. But personally, I thought, well, surely black gets a dynamic game. You know, he plays like this. Maybe he can play like this, and a dynamic game. Later when white had castled. It became an option for bishop f6, but at the moment, when the queen left, we'll see black here. Okay, in this position, after bishop g5, black castled. Sorry, do you want to say anything about bishop g5 here?
Yeah, bishop g5 is just normal, but I think it's pretty much a very weird idea to capture on f6. This looks completely anti-positional to me.
Oh yeah, sorry, at the moment, when the queen's there, no, you don't want to give up the dark square bishop. No, I mean later. Sorry, I was jumping ahead there.
Yeah, to the point, move 15, yeah, I see. Yeah.
So after castles, okay, now bishop d3, and there is a threat of actually technically winning a pawn, isn't there?
Yeah, black must play h6, not much else.
So now we see bishop h4.
Yeah, this planning in the long run to play bishop g3, get rid of the bishops, to help increase the grip on the dark squares.
It looks like a typical French defense strategy you get in the Tarrasch variation, where you often play this maneuver to just get rid of the dark square bishops, loosen the dark squares.
It's pretty similar actually. Yeah, now bishop b7. Of course, this bishop is not really great.
Yeah, I've lost at least 4 games this year so far with such a bishop on b7 in French defense type positions. Sometimes it can be just totally useless, and if white clamps down on the dark squares, is also imprisoning this bishop strategically. If it's never given liberation on the diagonal, it's just locked down by its own structure. So white castled, and now so the very interesting move here now, which was inviting. So it was this point, I was jumping ahead earlier. Queen b8, so it is inviting.
Oh, sorry, you're dying here. Yeah, I've got very bad audio. Maybe we should just quickly reconnect.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Yeah, you call me again.
Okay. If I do stop, we definitely got bad connection now, yeah? Hello?
Yeah, hi.
Okay, our connection's restored a bit. Okay, let's just continue. Sorry, Queen b8.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Okay. So Queen b8 was played here after castle's Queen b8.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see this logical plan. Instead of bishop f6, this was the crossroads. So bishop f6 might be what Anand wanted. He was dreaming of bishop f6 with an active game. Is that possible? That black has enough dynamic compensation?
Maybe 50 seconds or something to discard this. This is a really completely anti-positional move, as it gives black the bishop pair, e5 control, and white will never get anything against the king. So
but some commentator thought this was good for white. I think a GM commentator apparently thought this was an option. I don't know. Maybe they were thinking of Queen d2, a specific idea. Queen d2 to provoke f5.
Bishop f4 wins the exchange.
Oh,
You cannot do this.
nope. Yep.
And you could try stuff like Queen e2, the knight, Queen to h5, but this really takes ages. to get to anything, and I think black will simply defend this. I'm not sure, maybe I'm too harsh with calling it completely anti-positional, but I'm not sure. I don't think I would consider this. I can only say for myself, because if you look at the way the game progresses, it's just the question if black holds the position, or maybe white will get something, and here you're actually risking something as white, and it's very unclear that you would get anything decent in return.
But hold on, knight h4 and queen h5 seem like a dangerous idea. Okay, what would you play, for example, as black here in this position after queen e2?
Yeah, well, if you want to go knight h4, you need to consider that I can take on h2 also.
Yeah, I'm just going to sacrifice that. So
yeah, maybe you can. It's not out of the question. Yeah, one possibility is to just go king to g7.
Okay. Right. So I'll sacrifice. You're going to take that?
Maybe not. But it's still in the air. So let's say rook h8.
All right, rook h8.
First offhand suggestions that come to mind.
Yeah.
So if you would give a check here on g4, I can go to f8.
Yeah. Okay, so the promise of the G file is real here. I'm just want to make sure that there's white hasn't, maybe f4 and it starts to get a bit creaky for black. Because I think some GM commentator was convinced that bishop f6 was actually a good move.
It's not so clear. Maybe I think my first reaction was maybe a bit too harsh. But well, it's maybe really debatable move. I think I saw the live broadcast which had PlyCount commentating, and he also said that bishop takes f6 would be horrible. So,
for horrible for who? For white or for black?
For white.
Oh, for white. Okay. All right. Maybe I got the wrong end of the stick. Okay. Maybe that's okay. Maybe that's nothing. Well.
It's not clear. Maybe it's not clear. It's maybe also a matter of taste. And PlyCount is also a very methodical positional player, and bishop g3 is just the kind of move that you want to play in a strategic sense to get rid of those bishops.
Yeah.
And you want to play on the queen side. You've got everything set up to play on the queen side, so it's a bit weird that somehow you would try to get some attack going. It's not out of the question that it's possible.
Yeah. In fact, statistically, in club games, getting rid of the dark square bishops and playing on dark squares has been a major source of wins, actually, from the white side this season. It is an easy way to win sometimes, just as a sort of, colour square campaign. Just get rid of the opponent's defensive bishop and then just infiltrate. And that's basically what happened, isn't it? Well, sorry, I don't want to spoil game there. But okay, so what does black play here? He plays rook c8.
Yeah.
He's not keen to double white's pawns. It's just falling in with white's strategy to double these pawns immediately. Well, actually, though, after this next move, he does actually double white's pawns. He does take on g3.
Black is a bit out of moves here. Also, after queen e2, maybe white also threatens in a way knight to e5. This could be an issue. Knight e5, and then f4, and so on.
Yeah, it looks like a Pillsbury bind attack position with the bishop outside of the pawn chain. No pressure on d4 for black to counter attack on.
Yeah, exactly. So I think black is sort of out of useful moves. So he took on g3.
But yeah, I mean, this looks like, to be honest, I don't like black's position and the way he's played this so far. It looks like a bad French defence without any counterplay, doesn't it?
It's not particularly inspiring. Yeah, it's not the kind of position where you can win games from. But it's not so terribly bad. He didn't. If you would ask Anand, would you like to have this position, he would certainly say no.
Yeah.
He sort of drifted into this.
Yeah.
I'm not quite certain, but it's still not so terrible, I guess. But it requires really accurate defense, and I think he played an accurate defense for quite some time.
So,
but we will see the critical point. I had a brief look at the game.
So
rook c2, which is
so queen. Well, queen d6 has some points that maybe later queen b4. It's helping protect some key squares in case maybe there's a sacrifice or something. It's useful on d6 as a defensive and potential attacking thing. It's also protecting a6.
We played rook b8 later, so this is certainly sensible. Rook c2.
Yep.
Now knight b2 d7.
Okay.
Defending e5 and also protecting a6 from the side.
Yep.
This is also why white wants queen e2, of course, to attack.
Yeah.
a6 attack, and black cannot never play a5 really.
Yeah.
Not but not in this kind of position where it allows knight to b5.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
So yeah, rook after c1, which is fairly logical.
Yeah.
To get the c-pawn, and now rook ab8, and now we're approaching, I think, the critical phase here.
Yeah, I was stunned here. I tried to get an answer from WGM, Natalia Poganina on ChessGames.com, and she was convinced as well. I felt a3 was the way to go, just to securely, guard c5 for knight a4 to c5. And I was surprised by knight a4 because I thought knight a4 doesn't really secure c5, and black might have knight e4, which turns out soon to be a liability, knight e4. So white is playing without any pawn moves, which for me is a memorable moment of this match, because pawn moves might imply some sort of weakness and liability to construct a3 and b4 to mark out c5.
Well, knight a4, I think, knight e4 from Vishy is a real serious mistake. So knight a4, it's not because of knight e4 that you wouldn't play knight a4. You can also play a3 at some later stage if you want. I think knight e4 is the first.
Oh right, I thought it was simply to parry the c5 square, knight e4, because it is pouncing. That is kind of weakness of the last move. That it's not, well, knight e4. You just want to defend c5. I thought that was the main point of knight e4.
Yeah, but I think it has a concrete problem here, and which is shown in the game actually. The game shows why knight e4 is a bad move, and what should black do? Let's take the spec here, knight e4. What black could do here, but this is not at all easy. This rook takes e2. Black should take, and then I think the main point here is queen takes e2. Rook takes e2 is not really dangerous. And now I think the problem here was in the calculation rook c8, which was planned. Just my guess what might be the issue here. Then knight c5, and at first sight this looks quite terrible for black. But you could play a5 here.
a5, right.
a5. And now what should white do? He's pinned on the c-file, and black, if white makes a nothing move, let's say, it's not a completely nothing move, but let's say white would play something like a3 here. Yeah, he cannot do anything with the knight because it is pinned.
Yeah.
Instead, black plays just e5.
Right.
And white still is better, but it's not the kind of one-way street position that we got in the game.
Right. Is bishop f5 not strong here? I suppose you can just take on d4 now.
Yeah, I think you can take. I don't want to use guys all the time.
No.
Just if this is equal, dead equal.
Right.
Just so it shouldn't be completely terrible for black. One funny line though, which you should look at, and which is really cool. a5, in the position after a5. If white plays queen d3 here.
Oh blimey, attacking b7, yeah?
Yeah, attacking b7. Then black has the amazing move on bishop a6.
Oh blimey.
You didn't see the point yet, I'm sure, because it's really cool.
I think I have seen something to do with back row and knight g4 actually.
Yeah, really. Bishop a6, queen a6.
Yeah, I think there's a back row cheapo here, I suspect.
Yeah, and black is even winning here if white would take. So this is checkmate.
Oh my.
It's not even a draw. It's just mate.
Oh blimey.
Knight F2. Knight F2. You need to play it first.
Knight F2 to knock out F2 first. Okay. Oh blimey! So King H2, Rook H1. This is beautiful. That's me. So in this position, King H4. Oh blimey!
Yeah, this is really cool line. Yeah.
Yes. Oh dear! Oh dear! That is mating, isn't it? Because now the king is getting mated. Yes.
It's checkmate in 6 moves or something. If white would take.
Yes. Well, it's mate here actually.
So okay. This is very helpful from black's point of view. If white takes, it's just the mate.
Bishop A6.
This should be the kind of defense that black might try. Of course, I didn't find this myself. I just gave it into the computer, and I wanted to know how bad black's position really is, and it gave this all as equal. So
Yeah, because actually strategically, this is good for black to get rid of the bishops and weaken E4.
yeah. If the bishops are off the board, then white's advantage. I don't really think it's equal as the computer states. So white should be a little bit for preference, but this knight on c5 is annoying. But if this bishop is off the board, it's not a huge thing.
If black doesn't have bishop A6, black's in trouble here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's purely tactical.
Bishop A8. It doesn't look pleasant. Maybe something like rook. So Queen A3. Queen A3 maybe.
Yeah, Queen A3 maybe, Queen C3. Move like these would be improving white's position, and black cannot do much. So he needs to have this kind of tactical
resource. Yeah, amazing. It's an amazing use of the double pawns there, the back row, and the slight, the rook being unprotected. Bishop A6, fantastic resource. So. You're really saying that black, this was an absolute, the first identifiable blunder in this game was knight E4.
It looks problematic, because if you look now what happens, rook takes C8.
Yes.
And then he cannot take with the rook, as after the rook exchange he would lose the pawn, so he needs to take with the bishop.
And let's look at this as from a pawn sacrifice. Is there any mileage in it as a pawn sacrifice?
Yeah, this is just a pawn down.
So you're saying no, basically. Yeah, okay. So it's definitely just a pawn down. There's nothing, is there? Queen B4 is nothing. Just I suppose,
drop back.
Or just Queen A8 here, maybe.
Maybe.
Pardon me.
Just Queen C2 would keep the pawn.
Oh yeah, Queen C2.
Okay, maybe Bishop B7, but okay, you cannot play this really.
No.
Let's hope that you get some miracle compensation out of this.
No. So Bishop takes C8 was virtually forced. Then.
Yeah, he needs to take that, and then the simple move which Gelfand played, Queen C2.
Yes, I find this a painful reminder of some of the games I lose in Blitz, where white simply plays very simply on the C file, which is a very obvious route into black's position. It just seems too obvious to win such a high level game like this, to use the C file for basic infiltration on C7, but it's a problem with the position, isn't it? With black's position. C7.
Yeah, this 94 was really really bad. What can you say?
Yeah, it's a double attack basically on E4 and C7, isn't it? And although this next move offers E4 as a pawn sacrifice, I get what can black do here if he doesn't. He plays a very strange looking move now. Okay, but what if he plays G5, a bit of a shocker. But before looking at G5, what can black do then here?
Yeah, this is the problem. What should you do? Bishop B7.
Bishop B7.
Yeah, this would be the kind of normal looking move, but I think then just knight C5 and
knight C5, not Queen C7. Oh no, Queen C7. There's Rook C8. Oh.
Yeah, this Rook C8 trick. So I think knight C5.
No.
Really...
Oh yeah, because let's just demonstrate it to YouTubers. Because you take the queen with the knight here,
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, yeah. Okay, so basically this position after bishop b7, you're saying for that reason knight ac5 here.
Yeah, knight c5, I think. And then it's really difficult to see what black should do.
He doesn't want to give white a huge passed pawn here. Well, there's c6 coming, which is very destructive, I assume.
Yeah, it's immediately coming to c6 also. What, c6?
Oh, well, even though rook c8.
Yeah, maybe we could calculate this. Maybe you can take on, let's say, rook c8. Maybe you can just take on b7 then. Could be possible.
There's a big threat of rook c8 now.
Yeah, rook c8 is sort of semi-checkmate. Yeah, the knight, the bishop on d3. So a move like, let's say, queen anywhere. Yeah, this move. Yeah, then I can play rook c8 and b8 queen, and I've got 3 pieces.
Yeah, or even stronger, maybe knight e5 first.
Right, I think this should be winning in some way. It looks very, very destructive here.
Because yeah, you don't even have to lose the pawn, do you? You win this. Well, you're just winning another piece.
I think it's winning straight away, I guess. Maybe queen b4 still, but black will have 3 pieces and one of the pieces is the rook. So yeah, just 97 queen b7, knight c5 or something should win for white.
Right. So that really is destructive then. Knight ac5. I thought this is a destructive move. It's not just highlighting a dark square. It's getting a very dangerous passed pawn here.
Yeah, I think black cannot take. Yeah. Black must stay put after knight c5.
Yeah.
And white's next move is just b4 maybe. And this is terrible.
What does black play here though? Sorry, in this position, he can't play knight f6 because knight takes b7 is crushing, isn't it? Because then you're winning the rook with check.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Outright.
Yeah. Oh dear. So this is really, really destructive. Yeah. Okay. So that's what Anand was. He doesn't want to allow knight c5. He plays. So he plays g5. Yeah, it's an outrageous looking move, creating another more liabilities in the position for black, and also at the same time offering this kind of dodgy pawn sacrifice which isn't accepted. It's just bypassed quite cleverly. So if he had just accepted this pawn sacrifice, one would assume black has a tiny bit of counterplay here with bishop b7.
Yeah, this is just the kind of pawn sacrifice that white maybe doesn't want to accept, because the main problem is the bishop on c8, which never has got anything to do in this game, and at the end, as we will see, we get lost even.
Yeah.
Now this bishop just plays, and
maybe takes here and weakens d4 in some lines.
Yeah, but this is a nice bishop. Yeah, maybe you just want to use it on the diagonal. So it's just not enough. I think for this position, just a pawn is not enough. So.
Actually, there's a neat tactic here. Bishop f3, and if takes, there's knight e5 here, and then you got queen d4. I just saw that now without an engine. So I'm not checking an engine. No, but it's dangerous. You don't want the bishop in the game. It just shows it provides resources.
This is possible. So queen c7 is just a good move to keep it all. Or they want to just get rid of the queen and you just infiltrate on the 7.
Yeah, that's like simple chess. I sometimes say about simple chess, if you've got a logical advantage, there's no need to gamble your position by entering complications, and that really just keeps all of white's advantages intact. But notably, this bishop on c8 still a prisoner. So now
this should be losing now. It's almost lost, I think.
So is black forced to exchange off queens? He can't play queen, say, b4.
Yeah, we've got maybe just queen d8 and rook c8.
Ouch! Check, and then rook takes c8. Oh dear. Yeah.
Maybe.
Because actually, I think d7 is lost after this. If you take here, there's b3, isn't there?
Yeah, it should be.
Oh, actually, Queen A2. There's maybe you take on E4 first. No, I don't know. It's all getting a bit hairy. Sorry. And so, no. Okay. Let's just go back. In this position, Queen B4.
Just take D7. Why not? F2 was hanging. Sorry, I didn't see this.
Sorry, check. You agree with check?
Yeah, but maybe just let's just look quickly at this position. Maybe we got something else even. King G7.
Well, F7's loose, you know, so we can keep this. I don't know, playing B3. I don't know if that's.
You could, if you don't have the direct tactical win here, you can always play a move like B3 and black is simply toast. You cannot move anything. What should black play after, let's say B3? Just because we're not tactically strong enough now to find it.
Yeah, but let's say black safens his king a bit away from the check. I guess knight E5 is looking very powerful. That's undermining.
This is one idea. Yeah, this is one idea.
And now if the knight moves, there's queen takes F7. And if the knight doesn't, well, that looks absolutely crushing, actually, because if queen takes D4, you take and then you take on B8. It does look crushing, knight E5. No, F2, though, is a bit vulnerable. Again.
It might be a bit worrisome here.
Queen
D4, queen takes F2. Yeah, but black still cannot move anything. You don't need to rush things here.
Yeah.
Black cannot, you can just check. Black cannot move his bishop because D7 is hanging. If you would move the D7 knight, then knight E5 would indeed win because of F7.
Yeah.
So you can just try to strengthen the position here a bit. What on Queen D8 now? If I just attack C8?
Yeah. Or even, what about just bishop takes E4 first and then knight E5? Isn't this posing big questions for black?
You have quite some interesting direct tries, but you can just simply improve it slightly, the position, and it will fall apart.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess.
So I think we've given some evidence why the queens were taken here off. So rook takes C7. It's a thoroughly miserable position for black with this infiltration. This horrible knight on A4 is usefully protecting B2, so black's rook is less meaningful, and the bishop's a total prisoner in this structure.
Right, so yeah, black now played F6 to cover E5, and it's not much to suggest here, I guess.
This I think is the final losing. Well, a lot of people were now saying, well, just takes, and then this knight maneuver is absolutely positionally crushing. So is F6, but there's nothing else apart from F6 then. There's no...
maybe you have a technically better move. If you ask the computer, you might find some move which keeps it together a little bit longer. But yeah, it's really miserable. And also, I think Anand was down to something like 5 minutes here or less even. So
if he did allow knight E5, it would be very, very unpleasant, one assumes. Let's say king, G7, for instance. Do we just... I suppose we just play knight E5 then, here.
Really, why?
Well, I'm just thinking to keep the bishop a prisoner. Would you play knight E5 here, or is there no need for that?
I'm not sure. It looks a bit rushed here, because why would you trying to exchange pieces that stand badly, like on D7?
Right.
Black cannot move anything. You cannot move the bishop, cannot move the rook. If you move the D7 knight, you can knight E5, and this wins. Really?
Right.
You can try to improve the position.
Just B3 then? Something like B3?
Yeah, this could be a move. Also, you could try to calculate if you want to play a direct move. Simply, also taking on E4. You could calculate if this, let's say, takes now. knight d2, and then not d2. We want to go to d6, yeah.
All right, yeah.
If black needs to play f5 now, it's just basically identical to the game.
Yes. Okay, that's horrendous. It's funny, that poor bishop, not only a prisoner, but also about to be exterminated in this position.
Yeah, this bishop gets the target. Yeah.
What a miserable game for that c8 bishop. Oh dear. So the white's bishop goes as a prelude to victimizing black's light square bishop. So tons of weaknesses on dark squares now.
Yeah, now the knight can wait here nicely.
So Anand, he tries something active, an active sacrifice. Well, he's virtually forced to, isn't he?
It just lost. Knight to d6 wins the c8 bishop, and the only thing what he tried is to get a little bit of activity.
Yeah.
So, but it's very effective way of winning what Gelfand played here. So knight f6, knight c5, very nice.
So making sure the bishop cannot do bishop d7. Yeah. So now knight d6 is a massive threat just to win the bishop.
Yeah.
Okay, and then attacks the rook. The rook can just go to a7 here, and is not prone to any attack at the moment.
Yeah, now knight b4. Yeah, it's a bit of desperation here. Knight b5, very nice. If the knight on b4 then moves, then you've got knight c6 winning everything.
Yeah, oh god, it's torture. It's nightmare. It's a nightmare on dark squares. Oh dear. I've had some losses like this, and I know what it's like on the black side. This is why I think I'm not going to play the French next season, because you end up with pawns on light squares and sometimes a terrible c8 bishop. It's one reason not to play the French. If you get too much of that, you don't want to see that scenery. Yeah, again. But
to be careful. Yeah, now some desperation moves here. Like sacrifices or let's say gives up his bishop on c8 because he cannot protect it anyway.
Yep.
So rook b2, rook c7.
Oh, interestingly, so he doesn't use the check. No need to use the check to take the bishop.
Yeah, this would misplace us in the knight a bit.
Oh right, yeah. So he's keeping his knights kind of in contact with central squares here.
Yeah. To go back to e5 with this knight.
Yeah.
And rook c7 is
of course effective. That's very instructive in a way. Even the material gaining operations are very nice. So rook c7. But now initially for a second or two, I thought, well, isn't there a little bit of counterplay with these checks and these pawns and this knight? Yeah. But it's sort of proven it's illusionary. So king h2, and it seemed to be initially, I thought, a dangerous try now, this e3.
Yeah, it's a little bit the kind of last trick move. But you need to be careful, but I think he found a nice way to proceed now.
Yes, with forcing moves, check, and now the knights and the rook coordinate. Knight e5. He doesn't mind. It's taking too long to get this queen. Even if it's accelerated with a rook sack, it doesn't help, does it? This pawn.
Yeah, white just mates first. It's helpful to have two knights and rook attacking the king in the pawn. This is yeah, so now black cannot do anything. He can even play rook h1 to get a new queen, but it doesn't help.
Yeah, let's just show that. So check. This wouldn't help having the queen here, because there's an imminent threat of knight g6 check, and then rook g7 mate, and the queen and knight are helpless here.
Yeah, and there's no check or anything to protect those squares near the king.
Let's just show that. Hang on, let's just show that mating. Sorry, that mating pattern with the two knights. Sorry, hang on.
The first knight, yeah.
Knight check.
Knight g6 check.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pardon me. And rook g7 shows the coordination of the knights. Let me just undo that variation. So in the game, So I've put in some false variations for the game now. Let's just go back to get the game score. So in the game, okay, so after E2, knight takes E6 was actually the final move of the game. Yeah, I felt actually quite bad for Anand, to be honest, that he kind of lost the game more than maybe it was won. But maybe, you know, now I'm looking at it objectively, White did play supremely well to avoid any complications, didn't he? It didn't take any risk.
Yeah, he controlled this very nicely. Always had a little bit of something, and it looks like at least from this pretty, yeah. So we didn't do a deep analysis, but it looks like Black maybe could keep the position in a sort of only slight advantage kind of way, but you needed to play very accurately, which he didn't do. So yeah, I think okay, this doesn't look like a great game, yeah, especially from Black's point of view.
Let's do a quick overview. Sorry, quick overview and summary. Should we just quickly fly through it? Just a quick overview and summary. Yeah. So A6. So we saw C5, the novelty here, marking out the dark squares. So B6 didn't work out particularly well in terms of dark square control on this bishop on C8. So sorry, it's difficult. Sorry, what were you going to say? Sorry, I interrupted you there. Sorry, you were going to say something else?
No, I just want to say that it was certainly difficult for Black to find all the correct defensive resources there. And yeah, let's just do this quick replay again, and then say something about the further course of the match. It's of course a bit of speculation, but
it looks as though many games are many games statistically lost because of this C8 bishop. It is one of the more difficult pieces to develop.
Yeah, it is in all those kind of wide squared focused openings where you play pawns on E6 and E5. This bishop is your major concern.
Yeah.
If you run for this bishop, the queen's gambit would be a terrible opening for White. If to exaggerate a bit, because it's all about this bishop.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like a bad game for Black, but if he would have defended correctly, it certainly it wouldn't be too awful, possible to hold it. But we saw it. It seems that it needed very accurate play, and somehow Anand wasn't up to it today.
Yeah, this bishop to resourcefully use the A6 square in that key variation we saw.
Yeah, for instance, maybe this kind of miscalculation. Or you don't know. You've got those off days, and maybe it's also a case of this kind of match which has got 6 draws, and maybe sometimes it's even maybe good for a player to lose a game, to really wake up and start to play more aggressively.
Yes, to be actually more emotionally engaged in the match. If he was kind of, yeah, he's going to be more emotionally engaged. Hopefully he'll try and play aggressively tomorrow. He'll have the white pieces tomorrow, won't he? So
this is actually a very interesting parallel to the 1995 match which Anand played against Kasparov, where the first 8 games were drawn, and then Vishy won game 9 and actually took the lead in the match. And after this, Kasparov struck back immediately with this knight's rook sacrifice. I'm not quite sure where he sacrificed half of his pieces and won game 10. And after this, match completely crumbled away for Vishy.
Right.
So this really woke up Kasparov in this match. So he needs something similar here.
Yeah.
Because objectively it gets very difficult now. It's only 5 games left, and Gelfand is tough to beat. So
I I think this was one of the best. I mean, I just couldn't understand the difference or why it was better than A3. And apparently Karpov was a guest commentator and was mentioning A3. Apparently, I think a few people had mentioned A3 here. So for me, this was an amazing moment where even if, you know, in practice you don't see a variation difference, from a theoretical point of view, White's not committing pawns which are potential targets. So it's better to play theoretically, even if you can't calculate it, without any weaknesses, and then not commit any pawn weaknesses. So knight A4 really is a very non-committal, but seemingly, you know, gets advantage anyway.
Yeah, I think it was very nicely played by White, this game.
Yeah.
But you would be very hard pressed to find some mistake or something. At least from, if you look at it superficially, it looks very nice, very nicely done. Yeah. Now this is maybe one of the first critical, or maybe the critical point here.
Yeah, knight E4. So allows a forcing continuation. Rook takes C8, and now.
Yeah, to be honest, if you compare this to the game, we had this variation with Rook C8, Rook takes, where you lose this pawn, yeah, on your form. You compare this to the game, maybe you should go for this, really. Being a pawn down and at least having a bishop, maybe this would have been better. But same.
I suppose G5, I mean, a lot of people were shocked. I think a lot of GMs would be shocked just visually by G5. It's
Carpet was also really shocked, but he understood, of course, that black is very bad anyway.
Yeah. It sort of weakens the second rank as well. I mean, it weakens all sorts of things, but it did have some tactical implications later for you know, potential counterplay chances to undermine F3. But it never worked out like that because of another forcing move operation initiated.
It's really a kind of desperation move.
Yeah, it's any ideas of weakening, yeah, and Rook B4s are just dreamland now, aren't they? After this forcing sequence with Bishop takes E4, it's yeah. Once you see Bishop E4 and this knight maneuver to C4, it's a terrible dark square infiltration. I mean,
yeah, this whole configuration of pieces. Rook B8, Bishop C8, 97, that's very unlucky.
Yes, to say the least. The rooks continually double attacking both of those. The knights have their rampant dark squares very soon after F5. It's sort of unfortunate in many ways after knight C4. Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, this is just terrible to look at, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to look at it from Black's point of view during an important game. So
yeah, it's okay. But the interesting try at the end to sacrifice, well, was basically forced, and then okay, another forcing sequence to get a mating net by force, which was well calculated. So 95. So these 2700s are really worth it, you know, when there is a force mate. It's not just computers will find it. It was a force mate with the two knights and the rook, not minding about the pawn getting to dangerous proportions. So he just plays knight takes E6.
Precisely, and I think we can be very glad that we've got a decisive game already.
Yeah.
To get some action in this match. So I think now Anand really needs to win a game. Before that, he could, in a way, always say, okay, if we draw, it's not so bad. I can always win a game later, or if it doesn't happen, we make 12 draws. People won't be too thrilled, but then I win the rapids or whatever.
Yeah.
Now he needs to win a game, so.
Yeah, things much more exciting now. Yeah, you're right. I think everyone's woken up now to this match, including the players.
I hope so. And it's good to do commentary for once. On some game where something actually happens.
And it was a non-symmetrical pawn structure which produced the decisive result, which does show that the pawns are the soul of chess, aren't they?
This immediately helps in getting some fight going, yeah. All right.
Okay, thanks Chris. Hope everyone on YouTube enjoyed that. We'll be uploading this to both our channels, King's Crusher and Chess Explained channels.
Yeah, I tried to. I'm not sure. I'm on vacation now and on a mobile
Ah,
connection. Maybe my connection doesn't really allow this. I'll see about that. But the video will be on your channel, so it won't be lost or something. Okay.
okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Thanks very much, all, and see you on the next game, hopefully, Chris. And see you. I hope everyone enjoyed the commentary. Okay. Thanks very much.
Yeah. See ya. So.